On Judge Alex. He thought he'd found the perfect roommates.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 21.
How old were the girls?
They were 24, 25. At the time, I was 20.
Sounds like it has potential to be a very good living arrangement.
But when they swapped places, he says he didn't pay.
Did you stick around after you gave your notice, or did you just leave?
No, I gave my notice, I paid my October rent in advance, and I moved out.
And he's tried everything to get his security deposit back.
At one point, we knocked on the door, he went out the back door, drove away.
Well, if you think I was avoiding you, do you think I would have given you my number?
I think you finally got to the point of exhaustion. This guy's not giving up. I mean, this is
I just
like...
would have continued ignoring him.
He's like a bloodhound.
Today, in Judge Alex's court, pay attention.
The bottom line is you don't have any evidence at all that he owed any bill to begin with, correct?
I'm sorry?
And come prepared.
I can probably get a bank statement.
When? Because this is your trial. Tomorrow, somebody else's trial.
As a cop, he stood up for the law. As a trial lawyer, he fought for the truth. And as a criminal court judge, he commanded authority. Now he returns to preside over America's courtroom. Judge Alex. Eric Skraby is suing his former roommate, Peter Sinkevich, for $1,882 for the return of his security deposit. Eric claims Peter moved in and promised to refund his deposit, but has since done nothing but give him the runaround. Peter Sinkevich says he needed a place to stay and took his ex-girlfriend up on her offer to move in. He also claims that Eric skipped out on the bills and refused to accept less than his full security deposit back.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Alex Ferrer presiding.
Okay, thank you. Please be seated. Mr. Skraby, you're suing Mr. Sinkevich because you say that he took over your room where you were living and was supposed to pay you your security deposit, and he never did.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Sinkevich, you say that you don't owe him any money for his security deposit because he left owing utility bills.
That's right.
All right. Tell me how all of this started to begin with.
Well, I go to college, and I also work mainly on the weekends, so I needed a place to live. I started looking on Craigslist for some place to live, found these two girls that needed a roommate.
Did you know these girls at all before?
No.
Had you ever found a roommate using an online service like this?
No, and that is never happening again.
How old are you, sir?
I'm 21.
How old were the girls?
They were 24, 25. At the time, I was 20.
Sounds like it has potential to be a very good living arrangement. How did it work out?
Not so good. After, 2 weeks, this was fine. But after a little bit, I started realizing there were some drug problems. And one of the girl's boyfriends beat his friend to a pulp on our couch. And then the guy leaves, and the boyfriend starts walking around with a knife. So I'm like, yeah, this is probably not the greatest idea.
Check, please.
Yeah.
Right?
So I lived there.
How long, when you sum it all up, how long were you there?
A month and a half.
A month and a half?
Yep.
Just long enough to eat the groceries you bought?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So one day, one of the girls came in. She said, oh, yeah, by the way, I have a friend that's going to be spending some time on the couch. And I was like, okay, well, you could have told me this in advance. She's like, yeah, he's moving in tomorrow. I'm like, this isn't really in advance. She goes, well, it's tomorrow. So I'm like,
so who was the friend?
Well, that's Peter.
Mr. Sinkevich.
Yes.
How do you end up on his couch?
My ex-girlfriend used to live in that house, and we moved to Cincinnati together. Things didn't work out, so I decided to move back to San Diego. And on the way back...
How long were you gone?
A month and a half. seems to be the magical time.
Did she tell you she had a male roommate?
She mentioned that Eric lived there.
You're not the same age. You're older, I assume.
I just turned 35 in March.
35. Okay. So you're 35 years old and you're sleeping on his couch. Did that create any friction between the two of you?
Yeah, I felt like that. From the moment I was there, I got lots of attitude and I thought Eric was just very...
I was never there.
Well, that was it. But when he was there, it was pretty ridiculous because he was obviously upset that I was there. I didn't know the guy. I felt like I was getting a lot of attitude. Tried to be friendly.
Like what? What kind of attitude would he give you?
Just, not looking at me straight. Like, doesn't want to talk. Very non-committal, non-communicative, whatever. And I I just thought it was a bad situation.
That doesn't sound like attitude. That
Well, I
like
didn't really think that she let him know ahead of time. I figured that was probably what the issue was.
Did you ever try to talk to him or anything? Did you ever say, like, hey, you know, what's going on?
I said, hey, what's up? You know, how you doing? Blah, blah, but not really getting a response, not really getting any kind of eye contact. So getting attitude.
He wasn't happy you were there?
No.
And how long was he there before you moved out?
No, I gave my 30 days notice on September 28th.
They said you never gave any 30-day notice.
Well, I have a 30 days notice here.
All right, give it to Mason, please. When did you move in?
It was like the end of September, like the 25th.
And you moved out, or you gave your notice the 28th. And did you stick around after you gave your notice, or did you just leave?
No, he literally just
I gave
moved.
my notice, I paid my October rent in advance, and I moved out. He talked to me, I was like, I already paid rent for next month, even though I'm not living here. My security deposit, and he said he would give me both.
But you didn't pay the bills, some of the utility bills.
Okay, what utility bills are you talking about? Let me see those. So if you have utility bills?
I don't have the copy of it.
Okay. Okay. Take me through this now, okay?
Okay.
You move out. According to you, you give 30-day notice. According to him, you don't give any 30-day notice. According to one of your roommates...
That is the landlord.
The landlord, okay. September 28, 2009, I received a 30-day notice from Eric Skraby that he intends to vacate. I won't say the last name.
Didn't tell anybody else, though. What about the roommates?
They knew I was
How about
leaving.
letting the roommates, the people that you live with...
Are your feelings hurt?
No.
His feelings can't be hurt.
Legally, he doesn't have to tell you.
I don't even care about him.
All right, so you move out, and I'm gathering that the way it works over in this apartment is new roommate moves in, reimburses old roommate for their security deposit, and that way everybody gets their money.
Keeps rotating.
Right?
That's
okay. All right, so how does that go?
Well, like I said, when I met him, he said he would pay me. I was like, all right. So I gave him a couple weeks, got nothing. I got his phone number and everything. Still wouldn't pay me, so I tried calling him to get nothing.
And everyone I know, like harassment level, like craziness.
It was like a text a day.
Well, how often are you calling?
Stopping by the house, calling the landlord, calling the roommates, calling me, like stalker.
Did you pay him the money?
No, because I paid part of his utility bill. So
how big was his utility bill?
It was about $90.
How big was your security deposit?
$733.
So there's a gap here, okay?
Exactly.
Coming up next, was Eric a nuisance, or was Peter just playing Scrooge?
My first contact was December 24th. So Christmas Eve, he's like, I get a text that says, can you please leave me alone for the holidays?
And later, Peter lets Eric know how he really feels.
Never would call me back.
Classic, young, inexperienced, and stupid.
Ooh.
If you'd like to, Judge Alex is back with a case of Eric Skraby, who's suing former roommate Peter Sinkevich for $1,882 for the return of his security deposit. Peter claims he tried to work with Eric, but he became unreasonable and started stalking him.
This got dragged on for months and months and
Tell
months.
me how this got dragged on for months. When did you start calling him?
Exactly. I started calling 2 weeks after I moved out.
And what are you getting?
Nothing, absolutely nothing. My first contact was December 24th. So Christmas Eve, he's like, I get a text that says, can you please leave me alone for the holidays?
Okay.
So I knew he was getting my messages at least. That was a bright side. I mean.
And what do you say?
I said, okay. I gave him till January 1st, and that's when he didn't call me back again. So I'm like, all right. I offered him, I sent a text to him. I said, just give me $400. I'll call it even. I never got anything back from that. I sent that a couple times.
Did you ever respond?
Never sent that to me.
I said $400, never responded to that.
Okay.
And he was just never would call me back.
Classic, young, inexperienced, and stupid.
Ooh.
Whoa. Because he let you string him along, or what?
No, he bounced out of the house, completely left the girls out to dry with the bill.
The bottom line is you don't have any evidence at all that he owed any bill to begin with, correct?
I'm sorry?
You don't have any evidence whatsoever that he owed you for a bill?
Not with me.
No, but it's safely somewhere else.
I can probably get a bank statement.
When? Because this is your trial. Tomorrow, somebody else's trial. Not yours. So, what happens after that?
February 1st was the first time I came to the house. And calls me into his room. He shows me a calendar. He's like, all right, I think I can give you the money on the 14th. I get paid on this day, whatever. I'm like, the 14th? He goes, yep, I can give you your money.
Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay. I said, okay. So I left. And I left him alone for those 2 weeks. I was like, I'll give him a chance. February 15th comes along. No, nothing. And then absolutely nothing. And I didn't even know what to do. This is like a game now.
What do you do? How do you finally get anywhere with him if you do?
Well, I sued him. And to serve him, it took me 8 times, my roommate. At one point, we knocked on the door. He went out the back door, drove away. Another time...
I did not.
Another time when my roommate
ridiculous.
has seen pictures of Peter.
So
He says, hey, Peter.
Goes, are you Peter?
Hold on, let me hear his version.
He says, hey,
I'm glad you're admitting it happened now, but let me hear his version.
Oh, this is going to be awesome then. He says, hey, Peter. Peter stops. And he goes, I'm not Peter. So my roommate goes...
Because I don't know who this guy is. So walking up the street.
Well, he goes, okay, so who are you? He's like, I'm Peter's roommate. So he's like, oh, that's perfect. I could serve you then. Here's his court papers. And then Peter slams against... He thought he got out of it, and he walks inside. I sue him, so I go to court.
Okay, so you're gonna call him inexperienced, immature, and stupid, and you set yourself up by service by admitting that you were a adult over 15 years of age living at the same residence as Peter. So legally, you could be served. I didn't know who the guy was or what the purpose of it was. I just know this strange guy walks. As soon as I come outside the house, this guy just jumps out of the car and comes walking right up at me. You'd be a little thrown off too, I think. I'm pretty sure you knew something was going on. Well, it was just, it was really odd. When you're ducking somebody for 6 months, it was really odd.
Coming up next, just how far did Peter go to avoid paying Eric?
I was like, all right, let's make this 2 payments starting next week. He goes, I don't know about 2 payments. I'm going to have to pay July's rent, so maybe 4 payments. I'm like, all right.
You're the most accommodating debt collector
Exactly. I'm just trying to get anything. I wanted some money.
And later, Peter may be over it, but will he get over on Judge Alex?
I'm over this. You're acting like a kid.
I want to scream louder than him so I can get your attention. How is it that you are over this when you are holding his money? Eric was upset that Peter came to live on the couch. Do you think that Eric was overreacting?
Call toll-free 1-800-282-2333 to give your opinion to our litigants and receive valuable offers. Call 1-800-282-2333 now.